there is some shit popping off in the planet, in the country even, and I'm kind of sick of the petty horse shit that I see on Facebook. I left Facebook to begin with because I got tired of the same stale ass discourse. I got tired of people talking about the same random ass shit, canceling small ass platforms and whatnot over bullshit. And I'm not saying that it wasn't important. I'm not saying that it wasn't relevant. I'm not saying any of that. I'm not discrediting the feelings of any of these people who did the canceling or dragging or whatever. I just got tired of it because, how do I put this? Okay. Ultimately, let me put this disclaimer out here first. I do not feel as though there is a such thing as ignoring quote unquote smaller issues without being disingenuous. I don't think that there's a way to do that. So if we're talking about like colorism, fat phobia, whatever, those things are important. Those are types of oppression, and those things need to be addressed. They need to be addressed because there's a problem in society. Obviously there is. And I'm not gonna sit up here and pretend that there's not. The overwhelming majority of the shit that I have seen on woke book, I hate that term. I really do. I think it's stupid. I'm sorry, it's dumb. She's like, dude, are you okay? Anyways, but I hate the term, and I think it's ridiculous that everybody tries to like distance themselves from it when they're clearly a part of it. Like, you spend all your time talking about like SJW topics to begin with, so you automatically qualify as woke. What the fuck are you trying to distance yourself for? First of all, like, I don't give a fuck about your identity crisis, okay? Like, real life, I don't. But I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because this sort of conversation or this sort of discourse has become the norm. And that isn't to say it's not important, because it is. I think it is important. I think speaking on like colorism, fat phobia, ableism, racism, anti-blackness among non-black people of color, etc., etc., etc. I think all of those things are important. I truly do. I think they're very important. I think that you cannot have a revolutionary I guess, mindset or stance if you don't acknowledge your privileges and acknowledge your oppressions at the same time. Like, you have to do both. That's what intersectionality is. It means that in some ways you're privileged and in other ways you're not. And that's fine. It is. It's the truth. It's the truth. And I am privileged. I hold privilege because I am able-bodied. I hold privilege because I'm a small fat. I hold privilege because I live in America. I hold privilege because I work in the job that I work and I make the salary that I make. I hold privilege, and I recognize that. And I'm not going to sit up here and pretend that I don't. I hold privilege even in that I am a cluster A type of mental illness, like, sufferer or whatever, rather than cluster B. Like, the term schizophrenic, I guess, wouldn't hit me in the same way because I'm not diagnosed with schizophrenia. So I'm not going to sit up here and pretend that I don't have privilege, because I totally do. And I am unpacking that. I constantly unpack that, and that is always going to be my thing. That's just how it's going to work. That said, I think that, hold on. I think that the focus on minutia is a problem. Like, ultimately, what do we gain? You know, like, I can say, oh, well, this person is problematic because of this reason, this reason, and this reason, and this reason, and I can list all of these things, but ultimately, what are we doing to change anything? You know, like, okay, fine, you can drag somebody on Facebook. You can cancel somebody on Twitter or whatever, because Brianna apparently deadass should have been canceled, and that's definitely not happening. I look at my TL on Facebook, and there are people singing her praises because she responded to Trump, and I'm just like, this isn't revolutionary. This is common goddamn sense, but whatever, girl. Okay, sis. I am done with the performative politics. I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm done with the idea of writing a think piece purely for the sake of getting retweets or reblogs or shares on Facebook or whatever. Like, I don't care. None of this shit matters, bruh. It doesn't matter. You can write an entire article about how this form of oppression is worse than this form of oppression, and this person needs to be canceled because of this, that, and the third, and blah, blah, blah. And I don't care at this point. I don't care. And it's not to say that I think that these issues are inherently worthy of less, because I do think that these things are important. I do think that they're important. I absolutely think they're important. But I'm also not going to sit up here and pretend that we don't have, quote unquote, bigger problems, right? Like, I'm not saying one is better than the other, because oppression unto itself is inherently fucked up. It's inherently fucked up. And to pretend that it isn't is disingenuous. To pretend that colorism isn't just a different iteration of white supremacy is disingenuous. To pretend that fat phobia is not a problem is inherently disingenuous, because it's just another iteration of white supremacy, etc., etc., etc. And I cannot miss the link between all of these things. I can't miss the link. There's a link there. There's a common denominator in all of these things. And some of it is cis heteronormativity, and some of it is white supremacy, but all of them are inherently tied up into colonialism and capitalism and white supremacy. All of them are. It's more profitable to sell to skinny people because that's what you want to represent your brand, right? It's more profitable to ignore disabled people because that's what you want to inflate your bottom line, right? And I get that. I understand. Like, all of these things, there is a deeper problem here. There's a deeper problem. And I'm not saying to ignore the symptoms of that problem, because colorism is a problem, fat phobia is a problem, ableism is a problem, anti-blackness amongst non-black people of color is a problem. I'm not going to sit up here and pretend that it's not, because it is. It's a problem. It's definitely a problem, and it's something that needs to be taken care of and worked out so that we can all unite. But I'm saying that there have been 3 mass shootings in the last 48 hours. If we were to average it out, that means 1 every 16 hours. 16 hours. That is not acceptable. That's not acceptable. I think that it is important to hold people accountable for their oppressive rhetoric. If someone is fat phobic, if someone is ableist, if someone is colorist, if someone is anti-black and they're a non-black person of color, if someone, even like using ageism, and I think, is it called heightism or like height discrimination? I'm not entirely sure, but if they're perpetuating that type of shit, they need to be spoken about. They need to be held accountable. You absolutely have to. Because they're perpetuating the same violent rhetoric that we live in every single day. They need to be held accountable. They have to be held accountable. They have to. That said, I do not think it is wise at all, in any way, shape, or form, to call people out versus calling them in. There is a possibility to educate. There is a possibility to, how do I put this? There's an ability to bring people into the fold, as it were, and create a community, because our ultimate problem is not someone being colorist. It's just not. Our ultimate problem is not someone being ageist. It's not. It's a symptom of a bigger problem. And I don't agree with the idea that we need to erase and ignore all different types of oppression just because we want to focus on classism. I think that's bullshit. I think that's white supremacist apologist bullshit. I think it's bullshit. But I do think it is important to remember that ain't nobody born woke. Ain't nobody born woke. The ideology that we follow, the mindset that we follow, was not innate in us. It wasn't inherent. We were not born having these thoughts. We were not born having this mindset. We were born into the same fucked up system as everybody else. And I don't think we should be so quick to demonize. I'm not saying exhaust yourself because you must educate. Like, I don't believe in Black people being mules. I don't believe in non-Black people of color being mules. I just don't believe in that. I think it's horse shit. But by that same token, we can say it's not my job to educate you all day. And that's true, because it's not. I'm not obligated to educate anybody on anything. That's not what the fuck I'm paid for. I'm not a goddamn educator. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a professor. I'm just a regular nigga living in the same fucked up system that you are. That's it. And the same education that I got is the same education somebody else can procure if they have that compulsion, right? So I'm not going to criticize those who are jaded. I'm not going to criticize those who are tired, because I'm tired. I'm jaded. What the fuck do I look like pointing a finger at them? I will say, however, that, again, there have been 3 mass shootings in the last 48 hours. People are dying. There are concentration camps 6 hours away from me, with little Latinx kids being stuck in there and subjected to unspeakable horror by a government that just doesn't care. We need the numbers. We don't have time for sectarianism. We don't have time, oh, well, I'm a good Facebook person. I got all the shares on this. Like, dude, who cares? Who cares? We're all gonna die, dude. If we don't figure this shit out, we're fucked. 20 ways to Sunday. There's a reason why it's easy for the right to unite. There's a reason. Because they hold the same rhetoric. They follow the same bullshit. The left is so splintered because everybody is trying to figure out how to do it perfectly. And there's no such thing. We need a more communal approach to the way that we handle accountability. I'm not saying forgive people who are abusive and oppressive, because I think that's horseshit. I am absolutely, however, saying to give people a chance, regardless. Because we was fuckwits once too. 5 years ago, before I had my Trayvon moment, nigga, I didn't know shit. If it was not for Black non-men and Black trans women, I would not know shit at all. I would just be another liberal fuckwit sitting up here co-signing the bullshit that's happening in this country and acting like it's acceptable. Had I not learned better, I would not know better. Do not cut your allies off at the knees because you want to be the person with the last word. Don't be so dedicated to being petty and savage because you want clout. Honestly, grow up. Bruh, grow up. We got bigger problems. We got bigger issues. And I'm not discrediting your pain. I don't want to do that. I don't want to discredit your oppression and say like, oh, well, you don't have a right to be frustrated or to be angry, because you do. But remember, please never forget that it's bigger systems at play here. We can talk about the isms and the phobias all day and all night. And we can sit up here and proselytize about how one is better than the other, or I'm better than this person because blah, 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 and get all the clout in the world, and it means nothing. It means nothing. Because there are radicalized white supremacists walking into Walmart with fucking AK-15s. AK-47, sorry, whatever. We're fucked, dude. We're fucked. As many people as it is possible for you to call in, as opposed to calling them out, call them in. Call them in. Do not alienate your allies because you want to be right. Your ego is the last of our worries. I promise you that. It does not matter how many retweets you get on Twitter if you got a bullet to the brain, bruh. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many reblogs you get on Tumblr if the world boils us and fries us to death within the next 10 years. It doesn't matter. We sitting up here chasing social capital for what? For what? Why? Why? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? So you can be woker than thou? Why do you care? Why do you care that much? We have bigger problems. We have bigger problems. If we cannot figure out a way to call one another in on our bullshit, to hold each other accountable with gentleness, with tenderness, if we cannot figure out how the fuck to foster allies, we will have none, and we will die divided at the hands of some whack job with an AK-47 in Walmart. You want a revolution? You want change? It does not start with retweets on fucking Twitter. It doesn't start with everybody clapping you on the ass because you got the most shares on Facebook today. It doesn't start with you having the most laugh reacts on your drag as some asshole on Facebook. It doesn't matter. I have family. Y'all got family. Y'all got partners. Y'all got friends. Y'all have people you love all across this goddamn country, all across the world. It is time for unity. It's been time for unity. We have to do something, because if we don't, we're going to be overrun by people who know how to unify better than us because their unity comes from hate. Ours is supposed to come from love. I'm not saying you have to forgive everyone who oppresses and abuses. I don't think that at all. I think that that's bullshit. And especially for Black people and Black non-men in specific, I don't think forgiveness needs to be something you need to pat yourself on the ass for. But I am absolutely saying that we do not need to lose focus on what the bigger problem is. We're fighting an entire international governmental system. Do you really think I give a fuck about some woke book nigga who scammed a whole bunch of people out of money? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care about this little piece of shit perpetuating the same abuse that he was taught in the first place. I'm not making excuses, but I got bigger problems, my nigga. I want to be able to go into Albertsons and buy like tortillas or whatever without worrying about some radicalized incel with a weapon of war. I have spent all day at my house terrified because I don't want to leave my house and go and get the things that I need in order to function for the week. Because what if some crazy piece of shit decides he wants to blow us all to hell in fucking Walmart? What am I supposed to do? I cannot logic my way out of a bullet to the brain. Y'all can't either. We're all fucked 20 ways to Sunday. If we do not figure out how to talk to one another, how to communicate, and how to unify, how to organize, how to create a community, if we cannot figure this shit out, dude, we're fucked. We're screwed. We have to do something. We have to do something. You don't want your kids living in this shit. I got little cousins. I got nieces. I got nephews. I don't want them growing up in this bullshit. You got kids, bruh. You want them growing up in this horse shit? Do something. Do something. Be about your shit for real, for real. Or get the hell off Facebook chasing clout. Fuck your insecurities, my nigga. Fuck your whack-ass retweet rate, bruh. Fuck your margins. I don't care. Like, get on some real shit or shut the fuck up. Dead ass. The internet is flooded with people who are trying so hard to gain a following or gain capital or whatever, but that's the problem. Why are you perpetuating a system that has us all fucked 20 ways to Sunday to begin with? Why? What do you gain? What do you gain? Okay, fine. You get the Tummy Tea sponsorship on Instagram. Good for you. Pats on the ass for you. You get on the PR list for fucking ABH. Good for you. Well done. We have other shit to focus on, my nigga. For my black people. For my people. I'm gonna need y'all to remember your roots. We wasn't never supposed to be splintered like this to begin with. White supremacy got us fucked up 20 ways to Sunday. We were ANCOM before ANCOM was a thing. And that's facts. We need to be able to unify some kind of way, to speak to one another in a constructive way. I'm not saying to not hold people accountable. I think accountability is necessary because that's the only way we're going to fix all of the infighting. But the infighting is the problem. The infighting is what the focus is. And we can't get nowhere with that, bruh. If I can snipe at this person for being fatphobic, I can snap at this person for being colorist, I can snipe at this person for being anti-black, nigga, we're all fucked. Because that's exactly what they want to begin with. Call your people in. Call your people in. I don't believe in allies, but maybe it's time for us to try. Because if we don't, we're going up against a radicalized fascist system. And we ain't got guns. We ain't got a centralized message. We ain't got shit. We have anger, righteous anger, and no direction. We need direction. And that comes from community and organization. We need to organize. Now is the time. It's been time. Now is the time. We got to do something. We have to do something. Or we're fucked. That's all. I'm getting off of here. I need to eat and I want to watch Netflix because Today has been a lot. Y'all take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Please. Before it's too late.